man, it's really good. I recently detailed my wants and needs in a smartwatch when I was talking about a Huawei fitness tracker. I'm gonna kick off this review and probably all of my future smartwatch reviews with this list here. You got all that? Good. I've been kind of cranky about the iPhone XS and the changes to iOS in the name of better hardware aesthetics. I haven't spent any serious time with an Apple Watch since the first one. Jaime would always take those reviews while I was at Pocket Now. So this is a substantial upgrade from what I remember. A while back when the XS was getting announced, I live streamed that Apple keynote. And while I was heckling a number of their announcements, like the pricing for their phones, removing the headphone dongle from the iPhone box, the thing I genuinely saw as improvement, I was genuinely impressed by, was the Apple Watch demo. Living with this watch for several months, it completely lives up to that expectation. And that kinda drives me crazy. Let's just cut to the chase right here. Living with Android Wear, reviewing fitness trackers, even spending some time revisiting the Pebble, too many manufacturers will dabble and play with accessories, but few really focus and refine. Apple Watch was kind of a joke in its first generation, but multiple revisions and updates later, absolutely shaming Wear OS. Google has not approached wearables with nearly the same focus, and for ecosystem, Apple's only close competitor is Samsung. It's those little touches. You have a product with a small battery and a low-power chipset. So Apple took a page out of early smartphone design, and Apple Watch is a master at executing transitions and animations. You likely aren't really getting info that much faster, but the watch feels more responsive, and that matters. I still regularly get those lags and hiccups on Android Wear that lead to an unintended double tap or selection. Google keeps changing what info you get from different directional swipes, and they refuse to lead the design of Wear OS hardware. They didn't even have anything to mention this year at I.O. Wear OS is feeling a little neglected. Now, Apple Watch has stayed on the same conservative form factor, but improved the guts over time, and they've added some really interesting health tech, evolving from heart rate tracking to ECG. And then you read news stories of people consulting their doctors over a test result on a smartwatch. That's an actual vision. That's a way Apple can lead in a market and define a category rather than just following a trend. There is no perfect smartwatch, however. From a design standpoint, I wish this didn't still look like my first generation Asus. It would be kind of fun if Apple could invent the circle, especially for a UI that's full of circles. A quick aside, it's just fascinating to me that Apple takes such great pains to differentiate generations of phones, so people always know what the current season of iPhones looks like, yet Apple Watch isn't altered year to year to drive the same kind of emotional status purchase. That's not a pro or a con, just an odd bit of psychology. iPhones have a more seasonal marketing. Apple Watch is a bit more timeless. A minor gripe, but I wish I had regular standard watch straps without having to buy an insert adapter. Not a deal breaker, you can get pins pretty cheap, but I wish I didn't have to use standard watch straps. And an ergonomic complaint I have with quite a few smartwatches out there. I'll always be bummed by a watch which lacks an always-on display. I really dislike waggling my arm to force the screen on for a notification. The haptics are so good, but I still have to interrupt what I'm doing to tell the watch, no, I really mean it, show me the thing that you buzzed my arm for. Any watch, smartwatch or regular watch, is an at-a-glance information delivery product. Used to be just the time and date, but now these are beautiful gatekeepers for notifications. Just, I shouldn't have to manage it and move around so much for that at-a-glance info. My experiences with battery life over time were also a bit surprising. Not bad, just interesting that early days, when it was new and I was getting the hang of it, I could often get through a second day of use pretty easy. A few months in, and I'm a lot more comfortable with it, and it's more a device I really need to charge every night. And that kind of leaves me in the lurch if I want to use it to track sleep, but then I have to recharge it early in the day. Now, I don't believe that's from any battery degradation though. I think it's because Apple Watch is surprisingly successful at its core mission. Now, I need you to bear with me here, because I'm gonna be saying some nice things about one Apple product while saying some critical things about another Apple product, so gird your loins. I'm on a mission to find ways to stay connected to my data and services while handling my phone less. Any phone. I want less of my day spent interacting with my glowing rectangles, but I still want to know what's going on. On its own, I feel the iPhone XS requires me to handle and pay more attention to my phone than I used to with my older iPhones. Smartwatches are one evolutionary step towards offloading what our phones do poorly. I think all phones suck at notifications. So after a couple months, I found myself increasingly using the watch to do things and respond to alerts that would have annoyed me on the iPhone. Short bursts of attention and use, things like replying to a text. And then I started leaning on it more to initiate an activity, like listening to music. I love the iPod-like carousel scroll on the watch, and I like it better than using the music app on the phone. Initiating music playback should be a no-brainer, but it's something I can only kind of do through Wear OS with a voice command and with varying degrees of success. It's nicer and it's more tactile on the Apple Watch. And from there, it wasn't long before I was managing all of my alarms and reminders, scrolling through my podcasts, or controlling my home security system through the watch as my primary point of interaction, only picking up the phone when I'd need more advanced settings or options. You factor in some health and fitness tech, the beautifully integrated speech to text, and a responsive UI, the combination of an iPhone and Apple Watch feels like a more complete package. So the snarky way of putting this, I love the Apple Watch because it means I can use my iPhone less. I mean, I really shouldn't phrase it that way, but it is kind of true. It's just a mission I'm on in general. But this is tough because these are all premium priced products. And at once, while I'm very excited about the Apple Watch, it more than lived up to my expectations. The combined price tag of watch and iPhone is pretty steep. That awesome synergy comes with more than a bit of sticker shock. I've been really critical of Apple Audio, some of the changes to the iPhone, Face Unlock, and various company policies, but this is something I'm really happy to see evolve. This is a good iOS perk. I want to look towards mixing in a little AR, fancy heads-up display, and maybe soon, we'll be able to put down our phones for a whole day. It could happen. A boy can dream. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, and subscribing to this channel. Not just geeking out on a fun accessory, it's worth spending some time living with this stuff to get the most out of our gadget ecosystems. If you would like to help support production on these kinds of conversations, there are some links below in the description of this video, or you could consider joining this list of names scrolling by. Some really fun conversations with other like-minded tech fans. It's good times. I hope you check it out. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters and the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the Twitches and other places too, I'm sure, and I will catch you all on the next review.